Ladies and gentlemen, it has finally happened! 360Hz 1440p displays are here. What we have on the desk here today is the pinnacle of the gaming monitor, with a level of responsiveness that is absolutely out of this world. Yet with image quality that lets gamers see and enjoy all the game nuances. But have we gone too far? Is this thing actually necessary, or is it just marketing BS? Is 360Hz 1440p the next best thing, or is it something that you should well and truly ignore? There's definitely a lot of things to talk about, and I'll be going into everything in great detail, so buckle your seatbelts and stay tuned, right after a short word from this video's sponsor.
Corsair's K100 Air is here, and it is marvellous. This ultra-thin mechanical keyboard is perfect for those wanting shorter travel, whilst maintaining full gaming prowess. Packing up to 8000 Hz of polling rate, Cherry MX ultra low profile switches, and gorgeous RGB lighting, what more could you ask for? Get yours today with the link down below.
Okay then, let's get straight to the point. Should you actually care about the PG27AQN? Well, like it or not, PC gaming companies are going to market you higher and higher numbers until pretty much the end of time. And spoiler alert, this display is indeed the best gaming monitor that I have ever used. And this is exactly the sort of advertising that you're going to see plastered literally everywhere. But here's the thing, technically it is indeed the best, but the best at what exactly? Playing games, right? Better reaction times, better frame rates, fantastic. But as we know, there's more to the gaming experience than just speed, and this could well be a bit of a one-trick pony. In a nutshell, this monitor has been designed to deliver the very best in speed and reaction time possible, whilst advancing the resolution and screen size for competitive gamers. 360Hz monitors are of course nothing new, but they've always been plagued with 1080p resolutions and smaller screen sizes, that ultimately limit their appeal and flexibility outside of esports titles. I am very pleased then to see that we finally have a larger 27-inch version that still has a ridiculously high refresh rate and one that looks as smart as this one does. And this is fantastic because it really does allow you to get more joy out of your monitor, especially playing things like single-player titles, maybe some Cyberpunk, some Returnal, some Deathloop, anything like that. You get a bit more immersion, and it does help you sort of justify the price tag if you like. But then in titles like your Apex Legends, your PUBG, Fortnite, anything Battle Royale, especially if you're a bit more of a long-distance player, having a bit more resolution allows you to see a little bit further into the distance, and this can genuinely help you to be a better player. But I think the whole theme really with all of this, as we will discuss, is that you have to be a good player to extract all of the benefits that this can ultimately offer you. And indeed, firing up Valorant for the first time was genuinely a pretty magical experience. Now, okay, I do suck at this. I get impatient, frustrated, lose my cool. But even I can immediately feel the insane level of responsiveness from a title that is all about reaction times. Waiting for the enemy to pop round the corner or quickly flicking the mouse to line up that perfect headshot is undeniably easier, even versus a 240Hz display. Moving across to Apex Legends, something I've sunk far more hours into, and I felt right at home immediately. And despite the hard 300 FPS cap on the game itself, sliding around, popping enemies from afar, and just feeling more connected to the game itself was easier than all of the other monitors I've tested, bar maybe the 360Hz 1080p Acer X25. So yeah, 100%. If you want the fastest 1440p display, you want to see and feel 360Hz, then forget the end of this video, just buy this now. Done deal. End of review. But do you actually want that? Because there are so many different choices out there that this might not actually be the best monitor for you. You see, context is everything, and in the same way that you wouldn't buy a 2-seater Porsche for a family of 6, most people shouldn't buy an esports monitor for general purpose gaming. As we've already said, this is the most practical esports monitor to date. It has some great resolution, surprisingly good color accuracy, even if it is a little bit out of whack in some of the specialist esport color modes, and it even has HDR high dynamic range. And despite this being an edge-lit 600 nit monitor, visuals in Deathloop with HDR enabled weren't actually half bad. It's definitely not up to mini LED or OLED, but it is a feature that I would definitely use. So yes, again, it's a great monitor, it's very versatile. But when I tell you the price, maybe you might not be so positive about it. Because at the time of filming, you can buy this from Scan UK for, drumroll, £1,100. £1,100 for a 27-inch display. Does that change your opinion slightly? For me, gaming monitors are all about 4 main things: response time, input lag, image quality, and immersion. And there are so many other monitors out there that offer all of this for either a lower price or offer arguably more noticeable differences for a similar one. Case in point, the QD OLEDs from your likes of Samsung, Philips, Alienware in the ultra-wide form factor, or if you want 27-inch, you can buy a 240Hz OLED from LG, and you can find that video in the top right-hand corner of your screen. All of those are actually going to be slightly cheaper than this, and I would argue that actually for most people, they probably are going to be a better bet. All of them actually offer far better image quality, better HDR experiences, and even better response times. Rather interestingly, with my real-world eyeball test, I'd say that at 240Hz, the LG OLED actually looks very similar to the AQN running at 360, which essentially means that with both panels running flat out, the end result will look very similar. Of course, the AQN will still be more responsive though, because you've got extra frames actually being pumped into the display, so while the two might look similar, you're still going to feel more responsiveness on this monitor, and you're still going to sort of see someone's head poke around the corner, I guess slightly sooner on this, but the way it looks is going to be fairly similar. But this actually brings us on to another potential issue with this monitor, and that is that you need 360 frames per second to actually be pumped into this, otherwise you are just much better off buying that LG. And that is going to mean a very beefy rig. I mean, in fact, you've probably noticed if you're eagle-eyed, I've had to bring my other 4090 rig up here because the 3080 one that I use for editing wasn't actually sufficient to pump out the amount of FPS that you need in all of these titles. So if you do want to play games at 360Hz, you're going to need a pretty beastly PC. And that brings a lot of cost. I'd argue that unless you're only playing true esports titles like your Counter-Strikes, your Dota, Valorant, then you're probably looking at the combination between an NVIDIA RTX 4070 Ti as a minimum, paired in combination with one of the latest and greatest CPUs, like an i9 or Ryzen 9 from AMD. And then there's the simple and probably quite harsh truth about all of this, that even if you have access to the hardware and the games and you're so invested in one particular title that you're trying to be as good as possible, you're still going to need to be an insanely good gamer to actually be able to take advantage of the differences. Because, I don't know, let's use the car analogy again. Let's say you're on a track and you've got a fantastic car. If you're then in the car driving yourself versus having like a professional drive it around for you, you'll probably know the two experiences are completely different. And you are going to have to be a very good gamer to extract all of the performance out of the monitor. I'm all for like trying it out, and if you are able to properly unlock it, fantastic, you're not going to know unless you try. But the point is, we're looking at money here, and I don't want people watching this thinking, this is the best gaming monitor, if I don't have that, then I'm not going to be the best gamer, because I would argue that you could get, I don't know, probably 5 out of 6 people a 240Hz and a 360Hz monitor, and they're going to play exactly the same on both. It's going to have to be someone that is very, very good at playing one specific game to extract all of the extra performance on top of all of those extra requirements. It's a big ask. So yes, absolutely, it has been a real joy to use the PG27AQN. For the right target audience, it is pretty perfect. Images look super crisp and smooth thanks to the new dual layer voltage driver design. Responsiveness of this is off of the charts with sub 10 milliseconds latency, and the screen size is ideal for esports gamers. But at the end of the day, there are so many fantastic gaming monitors out there that getting the right one for you doesn't necessarily mean buying the fastest. For me, I love the QD OLEDs. I think that's the right sort of balance, but if I had to buy one monitor for everything I use, then something like the 38-inch 3840 by 1600 from Alienware, that's actually probably about the same sort of price of this now after sales and things, would be right for me. Maybe you want something that's big, immersive, maybe you want multiple displays. There are so many different factors at play that getting the right one for you is not a case of just buying the fastest one from the spec sheet. This does what it sets out to do very, very well, but please have a proper shop around for monitors and pick one that is going to be right for your usage, rather than just buying the one that is the best gaming monitor. Because if you want that, I would argue this is it, but there are so many different options out there that it's not necessarily the best one for everybody. Oh, I've missed some stuff out my notes. I'm meant to close this by saying I would consider buying a cheaper monitor and using the extra money to upgrade your graphics card. So yes, there you go, the PG27AQN, a fantastic esports monitor, but not one that's for everybody. But let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think 1440p 360 is the future? Is it what you've been waiting for, or do you agree with me that something in a different form factor is actually probably going to be ideal for most people? I'd absolutely love to hear your thoughts on this. If you've enjoyed this video, smash the like button, it really helps out. Get yourself subscribed, and as always, if you do want to check out current pricing on anything featured in this video, you can find it listed down below with my Amazon affiliate links.
And while you're there, why not check out Corsair's K100 Air Wireless? Ideal for both work and play, the K100 Air nets you up to 200 hours of battery life, slipstream or Bluetooth connectivity, and Cherry's ultra-low profile key switches. With full per-key RGB lighting, a truly wireless design, and complete media control functions, this really is the keyboard of your dreams. Learn more today with the link down below.
But thank you so much for watching this video. Grab yourself a PC-centric mouse mat with the link down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.